Whether it's at a new school or being part of a new team or joining a band, everyone at some point in their lives felt they need to fit in. And I, just like so many other people in this world, have definitely felt that need. Now, growing up as a kid, I had the best bands of friends. We'd spend all day watching the most horrible movies and TV shows and all night playing the weirdest video games. These guys were my brothers. And as time progresses, eventually everyone has to move on to the next phase of their life, which for me at the time was high school. Now, what we've learned from high school's reputation, from Hollywood's adaptation and the big screen, is that everyone sort of gets factioned off into different groups. So you have the jocks, the nerds, the band geeks, the goths, but obviously the most glamorized one of all, the popular kids. Now, being the 14-year-old self that was really easily influenced at the time, I had tried my best to fit in with the cool kids. And so I had the trendiest clothes, the fancy shoes, the cool backpack, but I soon realized that just because I looked like them didn't really mean that I was one of them. And with this revelation, I decided to change everything about me. I changed my interests, my personality, my hobbies, my humor. I even started to dumb myself down just to look funnier to others. And to my surprise, it worked. I finally began to fit in with the popular kids. And because I'd spent so much time worrying about fitting in, it inevitably made me lose time to hang out with my older friends, my brothers. And so anyway, one day, we had all gone to the beach for my friend's birthday. And as night began to fall, we all sat at a restaurant to have dinner. And as we sunk our teeth into whatever it is we were eating, I couldn't help but notice someone sitting at the opposite side of the table. He had pitch black hair, a Cookie Monster t-shirt on, his hand was in a cast, and he was laughing and yelling at the top of his lungs. Now, I remember looking at my friends and seeing slight embarrassment etched on their faces, but we didn't spend too much time worrying about him. We just continued eating our food. Later on that night, we all decided to go back to the shore to play a bit of beach volleyball. And although I had a ball hurtling towards my face every second, I still could not help but notice the little Cookie Monster kid at the back just doing the most outlandish things at the beach. And so it reached a point where I just got up, went straight for her, and point blank asked, "What's your deal?" And at first he was confused. He was like, "Well, what do you mean? I don't understand." And I expanded by saying, like, why are you acting so weird? Are you okay? Is everything all right? And I will never forget what he said. He began laughing hysterically in my face, and it caught me off guard. He began laughing like I had said the funniest thing on earth to him. And I thought I said something wrong at that point. I started, retracing my thoughts, but before I could say anything, he looked me dead in the eyes and told me that just because my normal isn't your normal doesn't necessarily mean that I have to act like you all. And so I went home that day thinking a lot about what he said and about what I've gained and lost. And what felt like after hours, I realized that, sure, I had become part of the cool kids, the popular group. I had gotten a lot of new friends, but I had lost the people that stuck by me for so long. I had lost a sense of myself. I didn't even know who I was at that point. And what made it even worse is that my new friends that I had now didn't really know me for me. And so, as cliche and corny as this sounds, is that I went and looked myself in the mirror that night and realized that if my 8-year-old self were to look at me right now, he would be severely disappointed. And it's a very big thing if an 8-year-old were to look at a 15-year-old and be very disappointed. And so that night I slept very well because I realized that the next morning, I would wake up as the person that I wanted to be, not the person that I thought everyone else wanted me to be. 3 years later, dating to exactly today, where I am right now, I not only got to keep all of my popular friends, but they also happened to like me for who I was more than I thought they would like the person that I thought they'd like. And I also reconnected back with my brothers, my closest band of friends even before high school. And I became happier than I ever was for the last 4 years of high school. And I'm saying this because a lot of times in high school, these kids are met with really high levels of anxiety and depression, mainly because they don't fit in with what society tells them they have to fit in. They don't meet a certain standard that everyone says you have to meet in order to be cool or in order to enjoy high school. And so this is why I'm going to end my talk in what could arguably be the most cheesiest quote in history, which is, the harder you try to fit in, the more you lose yourself. And the more you lose yourself, the more you forget yourself. And this means is that the more you're trying to change who you are, the harder it is for you to go back to what you were. And although, I got a bunch of new friends that I did before, I wasn't happy. And my friends that I got didn't even know me for who I was. And so this is why you shouldn't really change you for who you are. The things that make you you are the things that people value most about you. And so, although standards are a good thing to have in some cases, when it comes to these kinds of things, do whatever you feel is right. Do whatever makes you feel more comfortable. Because at the end of the day, you are your own worst critic. And the better you feel about yourself, the better everyone else around you is going to look at you. Thank you.